You may have seen in your ad account that there is a brand new way to run Facebook ad campaigns. It's called a tailored campaign, and we really need to talk about this. So to explain what a tailored campaign is, I'm in an example ad account and I'm in Ads Manager. I'm going to walk you through the process. I'm going to create an example tailored campaign and explain what the differences are between that and what we used to just call a Facebook ad campaign, but is now being referred to as a manual campaign. That's the sort of traditional way of doing things, the older way of doing things. Anyway, so I'm in Ads Manager. If I go ahead and click on this green plus create button, now what you'll find is that tailored campaigns aren't available for every campaign objective. They are currently available for leads and sales and some engagement campaigns. Now, as an agency, and I'm sure you as an advertiser, the vast majority of the campaigns that we create are going to be leads and sales. Sometimes we will, yes, use awareness if we're running an omnipresent content campaign, or we might use traffic if we can't track conversions, for example, but the majority of the time, 90% of the time, is going to be leads and sales. So this new campaign type applies in the vast majority of circumstances when advertisers want to promote their stuff. I'm going to go ahead and use a leads campaign as an example here, but what I talk about very much applies to a sales campaign. The tailored setup is similar for both. So let's go ahead and click continue. Now what you will see is that we get this window. If you select one of the objectives that doesn't have a tailored campaign, you'll just go through to the sort of regular creation of a Facebook ad campaign where you've got campaign, ad set, and ad. Now, the first thing that we should highlight is that Meta are obviously pushing us towards tailored campaigns. Firstly, it's a default option. If I just click continue, then it's going to go with tailored leads campaign. It's also called tailored. That sounds good, doesn't it? That sounds better than non-tailored. Everyone knows that a tailored suit fits better than one that you just buy off the rack, okay? And they also give you some reasons, some incentives for using this. So they've said here, look, this is streamlined, it's tailored, it features best practices. And the description is create your campaign in fewer steps using tailored leads campaign. It's preset with built-in best practices to help you get more leads at the best value. So these are things that are obviously trying to get us to take the action of using a tailored campaign. If we look at the description of the manual leads campaign, it's create a leads campaign from scratch using the standard setup. So for beginner advertisers, it sounds like more effort. It doesn't sound like the way to go. We're going to discuss that more. But if I go ahead and select this tailored campaign and click continue, and then we can take a look at what we're dealing with here when we're going through a tailored, in this case, lead campaign creation process. So the first thing to note is that we only have two stages. So we've got this campaign stage and then we've got this ad stage. We don't have an ad set stage. We don't have that third stage. You might be thinking, well, how's that going to work with all the targeting options and placement options and things like that? Well, some of that stuff you just can't touch and some of it is blended into the other options. So if we think about this as the campaign stage, we've got special ad categories, you can name it, but then we've also got some stuff that would traditionally be in the ad set level. So we've got things like conversion location. Because it's a lead campaign, it's defaulted to instant forms, and that is at the ad set level when we create a manual leads campaign. Then we've got our Facebook page, that again would normally be at the ad set level. Budget and schedule, that could be at the campaign level or the budget level, depending on if you're using Advantage campaign budget or not. So that's all fairly similar. Then we get down to this audience section, and this audience section is exactly what you would expect to see at the ad set level. So here you would enter in your targeting information just like you would with a regular campaign. And by the way, I'm going to skip over the actual setup of things like targeting and all that sort of stuff because I've covered that in other videos. I'll include a link to the video description that's got a full tutorial, a full walkthrough of exactly what to do at each stage of a Facebook ad campaign. So you can go ahead and check that out if you are interested in what do you put in for your targeting options and all that sort of stuff. But all this stuff would normally be at the ad set level. It's at the campaign level within a tailored leads campaign. And then that's all we've got. So we've got targeting, we've got our budget, we've got our conversion location at the campaign level here. And then if I jump over to the ad level, we will see that this looks pretty similar to how you create regular ads. So if I just scroll to the top here, we've got our ad name, obviously make sure you get the right Facebook page, Instagram account, and then we've got the ad setup section, which looks very, very similar to the ad level in a manual campaign. So you choose your image, video, add in the various stuff that you want, like primary text, headlines, descriptions, etc., etc. Again, I have other videos on how to put ads together. We get down to the bottom here and we've got this destination section with instant form. Again, this is exactly what we would see at the ad level. Select where people are going to convert. In this case, we're keeping them on Facebook and Instagram with an instant form. So they do that, but that could be through to your website. You won't see this section. And then we've got tracking with pixel and things like that. And then we scroll down and that is it. So what you'll see here is that the ad section is basically no different from what it is with a manual campaign. The campaign level and ad set level from a manual campaign has been sort of combined into this section, but there's tons of stuff missing. And what you can see up here is this little note, tailored leads campaign, create your own campaign in fewer steps, because there are lots of preset settings. And if we click on this button here, you will see that these are the things that we would be able to change with a manual campaign that we can't change in a tailored campaign. So obviously we can't change campaign objective, we can't change bid strategy. So that's just going to be highest volume. We can't go for anything else, anything that we might be able to optimize for. Now, usually we would go for highest volume when we've got a leads campaign, but that's something to be aware of. We can't change placements. Now, this is a really big one. We can't choose to just advertise on Facebook or just advertise on Instagram or just advertise on stories because we know that works well for our brand. Just advertise on feeds because we know that works well for our brand. We have to go with absolutely everything. That includes the audience network. Yeah, there are some issues with that, perfectly honest, but there we go. And then we've got the optimization for ad delivery section is lead. So we can't optimize for link clicks. We can't optimize for landing page views. We can't optimize for something different. Again, we usually wouldn't, but that's just something to be aware of. In some ad accounts, this optimization for ad delivery is now referred to as the performance goal. Just in case you see that and you're like, what's that? That's what it means, okay? And there are some other things that you can't change, that you can't structure in a way that you might like, that they didn't even cover in this preset settings section. They haven't sort of told you about all the things that you can't change. So for example, because of the structure, because the campaign level is combined with the ad set level, it means that we can no longer have, for example, a campaign that is running multiple different targeting options. Traditionally, we would have used one campaign and maybe had 3, 4, 5 different ad sets, testing different targeting options to see which one produces the best results. We can't do this with this because there is no ad set level within a campaign to have multiple ad sets. So that's something that's gone away. Now, in a second, I'm going to explain whether you want to be using tailored campaigns or manual campaigns. Before I do that, I just want to quickly mention our done for you Facebook and Instagram advertising services. So if you'd like my company, my agency, to create, manage and optimize campaigns for your business, we can take that workload off your hands, hopefully help you get significantly better results. You can find out more about our service by clicking on the link in the video description. That takes you through to a page on our website where you can book in a free, no obligation call with one of my team members. So if you're interested in working with us, strongly recommend you book a call. Hopefully we get a chance to work together. The reason why Meta are doing this is because with tailored campaigns, it makes it less likely that a beginner is going to make big mistakes. Because what often happens is someone will start Facebook advertising, they won't know what they're doing, they will run a campaign, they will make a whole bunch of mistakes. They'll optimize for the wrong thing, they might go with a placement option where there's almost no traffic, they might just tinker it and get things wrong, and then they run a campaign and it doesn't get any results because they've basically messed it up. That person then goes, Facebook and Instagram advertising doesn't work, I'm not going to advertise on the platform. Now, we know that that's not true, they just got it wrong, but a beginner doesn't know that, they're not aware of that. So with the tailored campaign, what Meta is thinking is, okay, can we just fix some of this stuff so that they can't mess it up? They can't make real big mistakes that are going to lead to them getting no results. So I think for most beginners, this is going to help get them better results. However, if you know what you're doing and you do want to have more control over things like placement options, over things like ability to test different targeting options simultaneously, then I think it's much better to go with a manual campaign setup. If you're, I would say, definitely an intermediate or advanced advertiser, but even a beginner that's sort of gotten over those first few hurdles, you've gone through my tutorials on how to create a campaign, 1 or 2 of them, and you've got an understanding, you'd be better off having more flexibility and more control, because there may be circumstances where you do want to adjust things, which is really important for your business to just advertise on Instagram stories, because that's where you get by far your best results. You don't want your ads appearing in other locations. So I would encourage the vast majority of people watching my content that know what they're doing with Facebook ads, at least to some extent, to be going with the manual setup. Facebook make it sound scary, make it sound like something you want to avoid, but as I said, tailored leads, tailored campaigns is nothing special. It is just a reduction in flexibility, which when you know what you're doing, you want to avoid. If you do want to use manual campaigns, as I would recommend for most, then you need to know what to select at every single setting at the campaign, ad set, and ad level. Fortunately, I've created a detailed tutorial that shows you exactly how to do that. I walk you through the entire Facebook ad campaign creation process. I think you're going to find it really valuable.